should do.
Right, so we're on to the sleeve cuff, and I'm going to show you how to do the one as per the pattern, and that is where you're working into the back loop only, and you make a separate rectangle that you then attach to the sleeve end. So before you do the cuff, you need to do your sleeve lengthening rows. The pattern suggests doing up to 16 of these, but I just say just keep trying it on and keep measuring. You might want longer cuffs, you might want short cuffs. It's really up to you. Okay, once that's done, then you can start work on your cuff. So clearly you need to make 2 of these. It says to make 11 chain. So the 11 chain is the width across the cuff. If you want a longer cuff, then do more chains, and then we're going to work into that chain, and then we're going to make the cuff going around that way. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to do 11 chain, which is really 10 chain plus 1 turning chain. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 turning chain, and then you're going to do 1 double crochet into the second chain from the hook and to the end. So you should be doing 10 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that's my 10th one, 10. Okay, so we're then going to turn our work, get that tail out of the way. Okay, so rows 2 to however many rows we're doing, and I'll talk about that in a moment. You're going to do 1 chain, so that's your turning chain. So I prefer to turn my work, then do a chain, because then the yarn is in the right place. And then it says 1 double crochet in BLO, which is back loop only, okay, to the end. So you're going to be doing 10 of those, 1 in each stitch. So the back loop only, if you tip your work slightly towards you, so these are your stitches, your top of your double crochets, sorry. Okay, so if we were making a normal stitch, we would put the hook under both parts of the stitch. If we're doing back loop only, we are literally going into the 1 back loop only. Pull a loop through, yarn over, and pull through. Okay, so just like a normal double crochet, except you're not going under both bits of the stitch like that. You're going under the back loop. Okay, so I do find it easier to turn my work towards me, because you can just see those stitches a little bit easier. So if you can count in your head to make sure that you keep to 10 stitches or however many it is that you're doing, then you'll get a nice straight rectangle which will form your cuff, and you need it to have a nice straight edge for it to look nice. Okay, when we get to the end, we're going to turn, do 1 chain, and then we're going to do back loop only again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and continue in this way. So turn your work, chain 1, and then we're into back loop only. Make sure you go into the second chain from the hook. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're kind of putting your hook sort of into the middle of the stitch and then through the back loop. 6, 7, 9, 10. And you'll see, if I move my pattern out of the way, you'll be beginning to develop these kind of ridges. It becomes more obvious after you've done a few rows. I've got one I did earlier here. So I was going that way. So you've got a raised ridge and a like a dip. So a raise is one row, a dip is another row. So every dip is 2 rows. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32. So I've done 33 rows there. To find out how many rows I need to do, I need to count how many treble stitches I've got on here. So you can either count the individual trebles, or a quick way is to count how many 3 treble clusters you've got, and then multiply that by 3 to get the number of stitches. So I'm going to start at my tail there because they're easy to remember. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So I've got 23 groups of 3 trebles. So that means I've got 69 trebles altogether. And I need to halve that to work out how many rows to do. So half of 69 is 34.5. I'm going to add 1 row to allow for joining up, so it's 35. So I need to do sort of between 35 and 36 rows, around about there. Okay, so I'm going to meet up with you when we've done the required number of rows. Okay, so I have finished doing my double crochet in each row end, and I've counted and I have 35 stitches. So now we're going to turn our work, and it says the next row you chain 3, so 1, 2, 3, and that counts as a treble, and you're going to do 1 treble into the same stitch. Okay, so it looks like a sort of 2 treble cluster. And then we're going to do 2 trebles in each stitch along. Okay, so we're effectively doubling the amount of stitches. And so by doubling the amount of stitches, we will be achieving the same amount of stitches that there are on the sleeve end. Okay, so 2 trebles in each stitch. Okay, and I'll meet you when we get to the end. I'm just coming to my last few stitches. And then 2 in that final row end. Okay, so your cuff should look a little bit like that. So you've got your rib section, and then you've got this kind of fanning out section, which we're going to attach to the jumper, the cardigan, sorry. Before we do that, you need to sew the short ends together. So you need to decide which side you want to be the outside and which you want to be the inside. So either that one, it's the trebles on the fanning out edge that looks slightly different, or that's technically that is the right side. They're a bit smoother. So I'm going to have those as the outside. So I'm going to put right sides together, and then we're going to just double crochet along that edge. So I didn't fasten off my yarn because of where it's finished up. It's on the back one, so I'm going to put my hook through that loop as well, do a yarn over, and just slip stitch those 2 together. And then, like we joined the top of the sleeves, we're just going to do marry up the stitches along this edge with the one behind. Now on the end you've got a row end, because it's the trebles going that way, not that way. So I'm just gonna chain 1, and I'm just going to put 1 or 2 trebles, 1 or 2 doubles in the end. I'm going to put 1 in underneath the first treble, and then I'm going to put 1 just in that double crochet row, and then they should marry up, and you want these 2 edges to marry up neatly. Okay, so just put your hook through both sides and just double crochet. Just doing this really quickly. So when you've done that, you can fasten off your yarn, and we will be ready to attach our cuff to our sleeve end. Meet me there. Ooh. Don't know whether I've got anything to cut my yarn with. Sure, I have to break it. There we go. And then just slip stitch to fasten off. Not slip stitch, what am I talking about? Fasten off and sew in your ends. Okay, and this is what it looks like from the right side. Now you need to take your sleeve, and we're going to do right sides to right side. So I'm going to put my cuff over the top of my sleeve. Right, I'm going to put the seam on the underarm section. Okay, so that is going to go there. So you want to make sure that the ribs are towards you. Okay, because we're going to stitch that onto there, and then it will open up that way. Okay, so we should have the same number of stitches around the cuff, the yellow one, as we do on the actual cardigan as well. and we are literally going to double crochet them together in exactly the same way. So you're just marrying up each stitch with the one behind. Now you may find that you're 1 or 2 stitches out as you get towards the end, but don't panic. You can just undo a couple and go back and either skip one or do 2 together, okay, depending whether you got too many or too few. Right, so we're just going to go under that first stitch and find a corresponding stitch behind. Under the next one, find the next top of the treble. Under the next one, ooh, I've got all tangled up. Under the next one, under that one, next stitch, and just do that all the way around. As you go, it'll begin to fit, okay? So at the moment it seems like the sleeve is much bigger than the cuff, but trust me on this, as you go it starts to fit into place. Okay, just be careful that you don't do 2 stitches in one treble on the sleeve. You can see there I've got a stitch in that one, so I'm going to go to the next one. So it pays to take a little bit of time with this so you get a nice, neat, even finish. Okay, I'll meet you when we get to the end. So I'm just coming to the end here. As you can see, the sleeve is fitted in nicely. We've just got the last few stitches. I've just done a quick count and I think I've got 14 stitches on that side and 14 stitches on this side, so it should marry up okay. If I found I had 15 on this side and only 14 on this side, what I would do, okay, is go into the next stitch on the cuff side and then I just skip one on the sleeve side, okay, and it's not going to show from the other side, okay. It will do if you're doing lots in a row, but if you've got, you know, 5 or 6 stitches to get rid of in this area, then what I would do is I would unpick a bit and just spread out the skip stitches all the way along. Okay, so let's see if we can get to the end without having to skip any. You see how the sleeve has fitted into the cuff. With the correct amount of stitches that we calculated. Obviously, if you've done your cardigan exactly as per the pattern, then you can follow the pattern and do the required number of rows and stitches. There we go. The last one. If you have too many stitches on the other side, then just work 2 stitches together. Right, I've got a few row ends, a few yarn ends here, which I'm just gonna work over the top of. Okay, so that was my join there. So I'm going to just do 1 stitch next to it. And that is how you attach the cuff. Just going to fasten that off. If we turn it the right way around, ignore my yarn ends. That is how your cuff will look. If I can just get my arm in there. And that's how it looks at the end of your sleeve. So it's nicely gathered in, looks really neat around where we've joined it, and the seam for the cuff is underneath, so you don't see that at all. Okay. Thanks for listening and watching.